Hi, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to GoLocal Live. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. Would like to welcome on Tina Spears with the Community Provider Network of Rhode Island. Now, this is the network of providers that helps families and individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities. Tina, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're now over a year into the pandemic. We've had one of your partners on before to talk specifically about where vaccines are at for folks with disabilities and obviously why that's so critical and important. And would really love for you to give viewers an update as to where the network is in terms of what you're advocating for, what you're seeing, and what it looks like moving forward.
Great, thank you. Thank you for having us, and it's such an important opportunity for us, and we really appreciate the awareness and understanding of the community as to what we're doing from a provider side of things. Our organization supports approximately 3,500 individuals in the community with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And that ranges from in-home supports, supported employment supports, as well as all the way up to the highest level of care, which is congregate care level of services, most commonly known as group home settings. And certainly the COVID-19 had a dramatic impact on our service delivery and the community that we support. So we really, during COVID, just like everyone else, we really had to shut our doors to many families in need of services, as well as really take some very rigid precautionary measures for safety and wellness of our community. And that's really counterintuitive to our goals for inclusion in our society and making sure that we have equal rights and access for every individual. So that was really hard for everyone in the community. And unfortunately, we had quite a few infections. We were able to manage through and keep it as low as we possibly could. But there were over 100 hospitalizations and unfortunately 15 deaths. We lost 15 individuals. And that's been pretty traumatic for us as a community. But what I will say is, we've gone through it. We've learned from it. I think we're ready to move forward now that we have our vaccines in place. I will say that we worked in coordination with the Rhode Island Medical Reserve Corps and our state partners, Department of Health, and we have finalizing our last clinic on Friday. We'll have vaccinated over 5,500 people, including the people we support and many of their staff. So we have hope. We feel really fortunate to have gotten the vaccines and that Department of Health prioritized this population, and we are moving forward. Our hope is, like everyone else in Rhode Island, that our doors will begin to open. We will begin to employ more people so we can provide more services in the community, and then we can all regain access to our social networks, employment, and all the opportunities that everyone is eagerly looking forward to.
Well, I appreciate the overview, especially for viewers to know what you've been through for the year, and obviously getting those vaccines into those individuals, as you said, in concert with officials, has been a huge benefit. Tina, do you have specific asks moving forward? Now, you talked about employment opportunities, opening opportunities, but from the State House to community leaders, what specifically would you like to see?
Well, I will say our number one priority right now is rebuilding services. So we are in an investment ask position. So we are definitely looking to see the individuals that we support have access to services. And we really, in order to do that, we need staff. And unfortunately, it's been a long journey through COVID. But really, what was unearthed through that process is, we unfortunately we're a Medicaid provider system, and as you know, the budget has been taxed over years, and that has resulted in low wages for the workers that we employ. And our big ask for our policymakers in the General Assembly and the administration is $17.50 an hour for our DSPs. And when I say DSPs, that's our direct support professionals. So those are the individuals that do the most hands-on work. They are the individuals that support someone living in the community. And that's really where our priority sits at this moment. But certainly we want to do a tremendous amount of work on really getting people with disabilities employed, and really retooling some of our business models to do more within the community. So that's really where our priority sits right now as a network. But we have many, many policy priorities to ensure that individuals with disabilities are fully included in our communities.
So as you mentioned, really retacking, getting your feet back under you and serving the population that needs the services. And as you said, supporting the staff with the wage that you say needs to be, because they're really doing some of the hardest and most necessary work out there in the communities.
Yes, I mean that's really that's the lifeblood of our work is really the staff that we employ, and the more we are able to recruit, train, and deploy staff within our community, the more access is created. We feel our industry and the health and human service space is a critical part of our economy, and it brings life to many, many communities. So we're hopeful that there'll, through this most recent relief fund that the states will be receiving from the federal government, will really include a reinvestment in our workforce, so we can elevate those wages and really create a large volume of middle-class jobs.
Well, Tina, I appreciate your taking the time to join us here today and give everyone an update as to where the community provider network of Rhode Island is, and again, serving those individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities as we hopefully start to move out of this pandemic. So Tina, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you watching were informed, and we'll be back with more Go Local Live here in just a little bit. I'm Go Local News Editor Kate Nagel.